Thanks for tuning in. Today I want to share how I make sure I maintain a very curated collection. These are the 5 questions that I ask myself before I make a large purchase and choose to add something new to my collection. I feel like over the years I've made a lot of mistakes myself, and through a lot of that trial and error I've figured out, or I've put a little bit more structure into how I acquire new pieces. Of course, I still make mistakes to this day, but I feel like these 5 questions really help me process like why I'm excited about something, what kind of value I see it adding to the rest of my wardrobe, and whether I'm really going to be able to incorporate it and use it as much as I think I'm going to. So I hope you find these helpful for you as well. If you're tuning in for the first time, hi, I'm Katie. I like to do these luxury fashion videos here on YouTube. I share hauls and reviews, but at the end of the day, I share my journey so we can all mindfully curate our own collections. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave a comment down below with the question that resonates the most with you or you found the most helpful. All of your support really means a lot to me. So today's video is going to be a little bit more chatty. I brought you in a little bit closer because I don't really have things that I have to show you. I also have my tea handy because it's going to be a little bit chatty, so feel free to go grab a drink. This almost feels like a chatting on my closet episode, but it's not, but that's okay. That's okay. We can have an extra chatty video this month. So these are the 5 questions that I ask myself as I'm about to make a larger purchase. It's to really help hone in on why I like something and why I feel like I need to add it to my collection. Also to evaluate like what new element it's bringing to my wardrobe and whether that's something that I'm going to be realistically using a lot or not. Okay, I have all my little notes in here. Okay, so my first question is, do I need this? And most often, the answer is really no. We are talking about a lot of luxury items here, so I feel like by pure definition, I don't need any of them, right? I have pants, I have shoes, I have bags, like I don't need any of this. Still, I like to ask this question because it still brings it to the forefront of my mind. And a lot of times when I ask myself that, I am able to weed out the items that I feel like I am just liking in the moment. It gives you that kind of rush of excitement. A lot of times when I'm browsing, whether it's in the store or online, I'll get excited when I see something. I'll be like, ooh, this is pretty. Like, it's a pretty color, it's an interesting cut, it's on sale, right? Like all of these things will kind of trigger this initial response where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I want to get this. So I do make it a practice to explicitly ask myself, do I need this? And like I said, most of the time the answer is really no. I use that as like the first filter to make sure I am not just impulse buying something because it looks cute or it's on sale or something like that. The second question I ask myself is, does this color fit with my wardrobe palette? Now, it doesn't mean like everything has to be black. It doesn't mean that everything has to be neutral, but it is a conscious question I ask myself to see whether it fits with the overall tones that I wear in my wardrobe. So for example, green is not a color that I actually wear a lot. I do have like 1 or 2 smaller items that are in that green family. And if they are much more of like an olive green or a darker green. It's not like that bright apple green or like a Kelly green, If I were looking at something that was in that like green color family, and for whatever reason I'm drawn to it and I want to bring it into my closet, I make sure I think about that particular color with the rest of my wardrobe. For me, overall, the colors in my wardrobe are pretty cool toned. I lean towards black and gray as my neutrals. And if I do have some color, it will be cool tone pinks, cooler tone reds, and blues. Those are the primary colors that I have in my closet. So I want to make sure I'm not introducing something that's like dramatically different from that, or is really clashing with all of those tones, because then it makes it harder for me to incorporate that piece into my wardrobe. Oh, this question also helps me figure out if I have too many of the same color. Now, we all have those colors that we like to wear. For me, that's blue tones. I will typically gravitate towards those kinds of colors. And so I do have more of that in my closet. So when I ask myself, does this potential new item fit with the color palette of my wardrobe? The answer could be yes, but then I also will think through what colors I have, and then I will realize that I have so many navy sweaters, I'm making this up, that maybe I don't need to add another navy sweater. So this question really helps me figure out the wearability of that item with the rest of my closet. The third question I ask myself is, can I easily think of several different outfits using this piece? And I don't mean 5 outfits that are like a jeans and a t-shirt, just a different pair of jeans and different t-shirt, but actually like structurally different outfits where it's incorporating different types of items or different types of silhouettes. Like, I don't give myself a hard set rule of like, you have to think of 3 specific outfits to wear this with, or else you can't get it. But it's more an activity to see how quickly I can come up with different styling options. Can I think of just one outfit and one outfit only? And if I'm having a hard time thinking about a different variation, then I start thinking about, okay, how versatile is this piece actually going to be? Like, if I'm struggling right now to think about how to wear it, like when it's in my closet, I'm still gonna have the same struggles. This question is what really helps me figure out the different styling options as well as the versatility of this piece. The fourth question I ask is, do I need to buy anything else to achieve those looks that I just thought of? And if the answer is yes, typically I will put the item down. I will choose not to add that piece to my closet. And of course there will be exceptions here and there, but for the most part, I'm not looking to have to buy a whole bunch of other things to make this one new thing work. I want this new piece to be additive to my closet, to enhance and augment what I already have. I don't want it to be something that comes in, sits by itself, so I have to buy a whole bunch of other things and like give it a lot of friends so that it can like figure out a way to be in my closet. That just seems really counterintuitive. It also suggests that maybe the style of that piece is not as seamless with my natural style, because you would hope that you already have the basics that you would need to pair with something to make that look come alive. So for example, like the really like bohemian kind of cowboy look, that's not a natural style that I have. So I don't really have, like, let's say footwear. I don't have cowboy boots. I don't have a lot of like things with like fringe. If I were thinking about adding something like a sweater, let's say, that like had that kind of vibe to it, and I was thinking about wearing it in that kind of style, then that means I'd have to, like, you know, get footwear that works with that whole look, and I need to get like the outerwear that has that fringe, you know, or get a bag that has fringe detail. Like, it doesn't really make sense. So more often than not, it means that piece will then sit in my closet and be like a little orphan, because it can't, like, it can't mingle with the rest of the things that I already have. So I use this question to make sure I am not putting myself in a position where I need to then spend more money getting more things to make that vision a reality. And the fifth and final question I ask myself is, does it feel comfortable? And not only in terms of the literal fit, because it absolutely should. If it feels awkward or it doesn't fit right, if it's not the right size for me, then I know I won't gravitate towards it when it comes into my closet, because eventually I look for the pieces that are comfortable. You know, naturally, we all want to be comfortable in the things that we wear. But I also mean comfortable in the sense of, do I feel comfortable in it? In terms of the color, the style, the finish, the whatever it might be. Do I feel comfortable in that piece? In a recent collective haul, I shared a new like Margiela jacket that I added to my wardrobe. and I compared it to a different piece that I was debating with. If you didn't watch that video, I will link it up above so you can get a little bit more context from there. But the best way I could describe how I knew the Margiela piece was a better fit for me was how comfortable it was. I had that instant feeling where I knew this was a much better piece for me because of how natural it felt. Like when I put it on, I was like, yes, this definitely is something that I see myself wearing. I can already picture it with like 5 million different outfits. I can see myself wearing it for all of these different kinds of occasions. That's how I knew. And for me, at least, when I ask this question of does it feel comfortable, I don't feel like it's limiting me to just the things that would be in my comfort zone. Because I know that even when I'm taking risks, if I feel confident and comfortable in it, like I will want to wear it. Even if it is that acid green color, like if I'm drawn to it and I get that same comfortable feeling from that item, then I know I will make reasons. I will make up outfits. I will give myself reasons to use that piece because that's how much I love it. Like that's the key for me in making sure that I will continue to use pieces year after year. And so that's why I asked this as my final question. It's like, do you feel comfortable wearing this or using this piece? And if you do, and it passed all the other questions before, okay, then this is going to be something that adds something new to my wardrobe. And it's also going to incorporate pretty seamlessly with the other things that I have. So welcome to the collection. So those are the 5 questions that I ask myself as I'm thinking about adding something new to my collection. This is the way that I ensure that those pieces that I'm adding are still very curated and true to my style. I feel like each question helps filter out the things that I might just be impulsively interested in and gets me looking closer at why I might want to add something, what it's going to add, and how it's going to work with the rest of my closet. I feel like I've gotten a lot better over the years following through these questions and this process. So it's helped me weed out a lot of things that were typically a little too trendy for me. So by the time I went through all the questions, I was like, yeah, I don't see myself wearing this. I hope you really found them helpful. Feel free to make like a little checklist on a post-it note and just stick it on your monitor. So when you're like online shopping, you can just browse over real quick. It's like, do I need this? Does this color work? Can I style this? Do I need more things to style it? And is it comfortable? Just like, bam, it's right there. So it can serve as a good reminder for you. Oh, if this wasn't clear, I also wanted to mention that these questions apply to really anything. It could be skincare, beauty related. It could also be clothes or shoes, accessories. I feel like it's broad enough that it works across the board. So feel free to apply it however you see fit. But let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to leave them down below or head on over to Instagram and I'd be happy to help however I can. If you like this video and you found it helpful, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate all of your feedback and support. If you like this kind of content and you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I post new fashion-related videos every Sunday and Wednesday. So until next time, bye!